All right. I'm Robert Newman. I'm here with Kari Redding, who is the Assistant Vice Principal for what school?
Lorewood Grove Elementary.
Awesome, which is one of the Appoquinimink schools.
The newest one.
The newest one.
Right.
And also I'm with Ray Petkevis. And interestingly enough, we were here in Middletown, Delaware, and we were doing some content based on the school district. And Ray had an interesting experience come up quite literally in the midst of my trip out here and us filming the content. We got so excited, we asked Kari to speak to us. She said she agreed, which was super cool. So Ray, take it away.
So my son is a student here at the school, and he was late. And mainly it's because of the holiday season. We've got visitors in from out of town. It's a little bit of a disruption to our schedule. So I brought him into school and walked him into the front door. Typically he gets on the bus, but I dropped him off. And he got to the front door and he said to me, he goes, "Dad, my nose is bleeding." My son's 6, he'll be 7 in a couple weeks. And so, you know, a 6-year-old, to them, like, blood is kind of a big deal. They don't see it a lot. And he's like, "Dad, my nose is bleeding." I was like, "Okay, buddy, it's okay." And we walked in, and Kari was right at the front door, you know, right at the entrance. And, you know, not knowing who she is, I just said, "Hey, my son has a nosebleed. Can you help me?" And the first thing that came out was a walkie-talkie.
Right.
And that walkie-talkie was basically, you alerted everybody, it seemed like, at that point. So can you take me through what it was that happened from the school side of that call?
So as this happened, I'm going to be honest, this is a normal everyday occurrence for us. So things happen.
Nosebleeds, get out.
Yeah, much worse actually. So I feel like in education, we have to be on the fly all the time. So I can have an agenda lined out for me and I will never get to anything. You have to do what hits you, and, you know, literally, figuratively, in a day. And that was just normal for me. So you walked in, you had a need. I looked over to the nurse's office, could see that her light was out. And so we all have walkie-talkies. I mean, security is a huge piece for us in schools. So we have walkie-talkies. I walkied for the nurse. We had quite a few people respond.
Hang on.
Yep.
I'm going to pause right there. You didn't walk for the nurse because you knew she wasn't there. You said, "Does anyone have eyes on?" Yeah. So take me through that. What was? Is that a special, like? I felt like it was a Navy SEALs operation. You know.
To get Jake into the nurse's office in 2.5 seconds,
and
go.
Yeah.
So, does anyone have eyes on? And what is your nurse's name?
Miss Resnick.
Miss Resnick, yeah.
Yeah, does anyone have eyes on her? So I guess we say that. I've never really thought about it. We say that just wondering if maybe she doesn't have a walkie, or maybe she's in a meeting or whatever. Right. So you can have somebody respond and tell you where people are. So, I mean, that's a common term that we say.
And you probably don't recall it as strongly as I do.
Right.
Because for me, I'm watching this whole thing happen firsthand, and you're saying it's a day-to-day experience.
Yeah.
The first chirp, I guess you would call it, that came back was, "Yes, she's in the parking lot."
Yep.
She just got out of her car. And
right.
It's like, to that degree that you have spotters outside the building.
Well,
I mean,
so you have to remember, yesterday was a little bit of a chaotic day for us as well. So
the school referendum.
Correct.
Right.
So we had extra people outside in order to help us maneuver the changes that we had to do for arrival and dismissal.
So I'm gonna restate my earlier thing that I said, which is this. My son was not late to school. I was here to vote for the referendum,
correct,
which is the reason that I came into
correct.
town.
You weren't late. You were actually early.
I was early to vote, and so I brought him with me. So
yep,
right.
That's fair. So with that being said, that's just common protocol. You know, so we're a brand new school. We're learning our building, and with a change in our protocol for yesterday, we needed to have extra people outside. Right. So we still only have the same number of walkie-talkies. So for me, I looked at it as, she's not in her office. I could see that from where we were standing. Right. And I needed to figure out where she was in order to help you. So I'm a mom. I probably could have handled a bloody nose, but that's not really my role I'll be the backup for blood, but for the most part, we go for our nurse. So she came in, handled it.
No, she didn't. Someone else came in, and they were like, "I have him. I'm gonna take him to," like, she went there, and there was like this whole
procedure. So we had our secretary help.
Right.
Yes.
Who stepped in.
Yep. So You're right. So if you remember yesterday, so we had the wall.
I remember distinct. That's why
Okay.
I asked for this interview because
Right.
I was so knocked out. I was like, wait a minute. We went from yes, I have eyes. Has anyone seen her? Yes, I have eyes in the parking lot. Yes, she's 15 feet from the building. I'm holding the door for her open now. Hang on. I will take the student to the room. I'll meet her there. And it was like then I met her at the door, and it's like, as a father, like you know, I'm going to go on record. I can handle a bloody nose, but the precision, it was like literally like a dance crossed with a military, you know, procedure.
Thank you.
And it was a funny punctuation point because for the year and a half Ray and I have been doing like marketing and digital strategy together, he's been telling me how good these school districts are. He made me build him a website that was focused around school districts, which, by the way, I advised him not to do.
School districts. Not
So,
Fair.
right.
Fair.
So he actually focused on schools first
Right.
in terms of the way that he promoted his business. So this was a weird punctuation, a
Right.
year and a half in the making, coming here, then him having this experience, then also us asking, hey, would you be willing to talk about it? You
Right.
saying yes.
Right.
It's been, I now legitimately am sold on the Appoquinimink School District. If I had kids, if anybody was crazy enough to breed with me, I would definitely be sending them to this particular school. One last thing before we sign off here, Ray, why don't you go ahead and explain why you look like a dangerous criminal and you're wearing a badge because you couldn't get through security to see Kari.
Yep.
My next, I wanted to talk about this as well. She said, do you want to take that off? I'm like, no, this is something I want to talk about. So this is actually the photo for my driver's license. So when I came into the building today for a scheduled appointment, it was, you need to sign in. And I'm like, I'm seeing sign-in sheets on the desk. They're like, oh no, you're going to go through these doors.
Correct.
We need your license.
Yep.
And then my license was scanned. The license was then entered into some sort of database, which then spit out this ID after I was told that it was cross-referenced with some security protocol that I'm not on some list.
You're not on a list, which is why you're in here.
That are not allowed in the school.
Right.
So what is that? I mean, like, what is that database going to? Just is it a school list? Is it a?
Actually, you know what, Ray? I don't want to catch that on film.
Okay,
So
so
just
let's
let's not talk about that. Let's just say that there's security protocols in place, and that we had to go through them in order to see Kari, which was awesome.
Yep.
Which is cool that I passed, that was allowed in through the building.
Yeah, that you
Good.
passed through and.
And then I got an ID.
Yeah, and got an ID. And by the way, he gave your staff some critical thinking training because he used to be a bouncer, so he had some advice for them if they should happen to get
really?
a suspicious character through the door. Yes, I'm going to tell you, you're going to hear about this later, I promise you. But then they identified that you were the heavy because we asked who's the heavy, who gets the call, and they're like, well, Kari gets the call.
Well, I made a joke and I said, let's just say I'm not allowed in the building.
Right.
I'm 6'7",
happens?
250
Right.
pounds. Like, what happens then?
So
And they're actually, they said, no, we have protocol for that.
right, and I think being a brand new building, we have extra levels of security features. So the goal is with all the new buildings being built, we talked about the wall. Like, I mean, we can literally shut a wall where you're not getting anywhere. So that's a feature of this building specifically. But I don't know if you noticed that she had to buzz out of the office.
I noticed. He didn't. He was curious.
I didn't.
I
So
noticed.
we all wear badges, and you can't get anywhere in this building without this. So, I have specific keys that some people don't, but this badge gets you out of the office. So you can't even get out of the office. You can get right back out to the main street, but you cannot get out of the office without being badged out.
Okay. So I can't get out of the building either.
You can get out of the building depending upon where you are,
Okay.
but you cannot get into the building from the main office.
Okay.
So if that spit out something other than what it did, you couldn't get into the building.
How many people know right now that I'm in this building as a stranger? At least 4 right now that I've
Right.
counted.
Right.
And not to mention whoever,
Yeah.
this
But our
system
staff
I'm
is
not gonna
trained to
talk about.
look for that. So
Okay.
if the two of you are walking down the halls, the staff know to ask you who you are.
Right.
And then we go into our next level of protocols depending upon if you don't answer. So for example, let's say you're not wearing that,
Right.
right? Then staff is trained to ask you, did you check in at the office?
Right.
Where's your, and if not, they're required to walk you down.
Walk back.
Mm-hmm.
And even walking up here, what was interesting is the lady at the front desk, her name is...
Duray.
So when I do drop my son off, it's good morning, Jake.
Yep.
Which is, it's great. But I assume that everybody knows Jake because he's got bright red hair.
Okay.
And he's kind of unique. So, but then we came upstairs and there was another student walking by. And I'm not going to say his name, but let's say he's Bobby. And she looked and goes, "Oh, hey, Bobby." And I was like, do you just know everybody's name in the building? She goes, well, not all of them, but
That's the goal.
A lot of them.
Most of them.
That's the goal.
I was like, wow.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. It's a little long for the kind of thing that we're producing. So,
one last thing. So
Okay.
on top of the security measures, on top of the security measures, right? We come up here, we're talking to Kari, and then she's got this bowl of what I was teasing her as confetti. So on top of the incredible security measures that the school has, tell me about what's in this bowl, because this was really cool to me.
So these are positive quotes. So just like you would get a little, I'm blanking on the word that you would get from a Chinese, fortune
cookie.
Yep.
Right.
So this is where if you're having a tough day, you could come and pick one to get a little pickup.
And this is for your staff?
This is for anybody.
For anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody.
I actually had a kid in here yesterday that needed one, and he picked it.
Can we do one right now?
Yeah, do it.
All right, I'm going to pick.
I don't know what you're gonna get.
I'm going to pick a blue one.
Okay.
All right. So it says, change your thoughts and change the world.
nice.
That's a good one.
That is a good
That's a
one.
really good one.
That is a good one. Dr. Seuss has a similar quote.
Yeah.
Kari, listen, Ray and I thank you so very much for being willing to do this. We appreciate it very much. When it gets installed on the site, Ray will message you and you can leave a comment if you have any.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.